Yo, what up? Here's how I got my first major label placement. A couple years ago, the homie hit me up, shout out to Rue. She called me and she was like, yo, a major label's having a private producer camp in Manhattan and I think you should go. And I'm like, cool, I'm like an hour door to door from Manhattan. So Rue sends me the address. Cool, what time is it? She tells me what time to get there. So I get to the address at said time. I show up early because I want to make a good first impression. So I felt like, to be honest, I felt like a kid again. So I'm like, I'm in Manhattan, like the vibe is high. So I show up at this location and I know how Manhattan works, so I was just like, all right, cool. I show up and like, how do I get in? And she was like, well, I'm still waiting on the contact to get back to me, but do what you got to do to get in. So I go in, and it's already full of people. It's a bunch of producers already there, but I'm there open with the mindset of collaborating, not competing at all, just kind of being open to what's about to happen. Because mind you, this is my first major label camp. So I go in and I meet the A&R that kind of put the whole thing on, and I'm close to the A&R's age, and I'm like, yo, the average age in here must be like 21, but I didn't feel any type of way about it. I'm like, yo, it's a bunch of dope creatives in here. Let's just get to it. So I set up I go into one of the rooms that were available. I set up my setup. I set up my gear, my laptop, and my hard drives and all that. And, I'm meeting people, networking, blah, blah, blah. So the whole time, like I'm bouncing around, meeting people, but also trying to work, network, so on and so forth. Just being open, having that mindset to just be open to whatever happens, right? So I go into one of the rooms, and it's probably it was one of the bigger rooms, but it was like 15 producers in there at the time, maybe 15. It was a lot of producers, and I heard this beat, and I was just like, yo, it's the beat was fire. At that time, it was kind of like very scaled down and just kind of starting to be developed. I'm like, yo, this is crazy, but I felt like I could contribute to it. So I was just like, yo, I'm in there, I'm vibing, and I'm like hearing ideas, and I'm like, yo, y'all mind if I put the bass line down? And they're like, yo, cool. So I run to the other room, grab my MIDI keyboard real quick, and one of the dudes was like, yo, you gonna play it? And I was just like, bro, this is the only way I know how to do it. Really, you know what I mean? Like this is the way I'm most comfortable with doing it. So I played the bass line out, and they chopped it up. The producer, the engineer that was at the desk at the time, chopped it up, placed it, took bits and pieces, moved it around, and that was my contribution. That was my biggest contribution that night, and that's what led to this placement right here. Shout out to the A&R, shout out to the producers that were there, that we worked on that song, that track together, and that's what led to my first major label placement.